Breaking news, Chicago rapper Lil Durk has been arrested in Florida. Jail records show he was booked into the Broward County Jail pending charges of for hire.
Without bond. This comes only hours after 5 people associated with his music business were also accused in taking part in that for hire plot.
Lil Durk has been arrested and charged with for hire. Now I want to back it up a bit. So previous to Lil Durk being arrested, there were 5 other men that were arrested late Thursday evening.
Looks like Lil Durk might be facing some serious heat this time around. It's no more a secret that he's been arrested in connection to the 2022 K-ing of Quando Rondo's cousin, Lul Pub.
Now, the death that is being referred to here by these 5 men is the cousin of rapper Quando Rondo.
If there's an iota of truth to this, it could be the moment Durk's past finally comes crashing down on him. So everything really hit the fan last Thursday when federal authorities in Chicago went full swing in Houston, rounding up a group of suspects who they believe are connected to the murder of Quando Rondo's cousin. The authorities didn't beat around. They took in 5 people: Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and another guy named Asa, all of whom are now staring down some seriously heavy charges like conspiracy to commit for hire resulting in death, and using a machine gun in a crime that led to a tragic ending, making it all sound like a messed up storyline from start to finish. Prosecutors are convinced that these 5 are closely tied to Lil Durk's OTF crew, and they're pointing to what they're calling some pretty shocking evidence in the case files. Apparently, the authorities tracked flights and rental cars booked for these guys, all charged to an OTF-linked credit card, which is already wild enough, but what takes it up a notch is that there's word that some unnamed OTF member was out there waving around big music opportunities as the perfect bait to get someone to go after Quando Rondo.
All this money on my head, I ain't dead yet. Straight up.
Now, just when things seem like they can't get any more intense, the latest reports are suggesting that Lil Durk might have been double-crossed by someone from his own crew. If that's not enough drama, here's the kicker. The alleged informant is said to be none other than OTF Jam, who, believe it or not, was apparently wearing a wire for years, stacking up dirt on Durk that could bring everything crashing down.
And he told me he was scared to get locked up in prison. The man's got 6 kids. I wouldn't be scared.
And of course, social media is going wild, with comments flooding in like, I see why YNW Melly friends, and it be your own people. This is about to get crazy. Y'all just watch, adding even more suspense and chaos to an already messy situation. To top it all off, just last month, Lil Durk hopped on X to announce he was finally clear of all criminal charges, boldly tweeting, "My background wiped and clean of all cases, I ain't a felon anymore, who would have thought? I want to thank everyone who helped push my vision forward. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." But here we are, only a month later with fresh charges coming his way, and the real kicker, it might all trace back to betrayal from someone within his own crew. Amidst all this chaos, an old video clip has resurfaced, adding another layer to the buzz. The clip shows Aiden Ross FaceTiming with Lil Durk, casually grilling him about his record. Ross shared the video on his verified X.com account, calling up Durk right after listening to his new music, where the music video shows a bunch of mugshots flashing by. Ross just couldn't help himself and asked, "Yo, Durkio, Lil Durk, I'm reacting to the new song, it's really good. But I've gotta know, in the video I see a bunch of mugshots. Is that you?" Durk just laughed it off and said, "Yeah, all of them are my mugshots from the past," which had Ross asking even more, like, "Wait, so you've been to jail?" Durk just laughed again, saying, "It ain't a good day." But if only Durk had known the storm that was about to come his way. Sometimes you just don't see it coming. For those keeping up, Durk's story with the law goes way back. He's been no stranger to legal trouble for years now, with his journey tracing back as far as 2011. For him, these legal run-ins from 2011 through 2016 didn't just come and go. They shaped a lot of who he is today, leaving marks on both his personal life and his music that some fans might not fully realize. Even at 17, Durk was hustling just to get by, working hard just to have enough for things like basic meals. But no matter how hard he tried, he seemed stuck at dead ends. Eventually, Durk's frustration got the better of him, and he made some life-altering choices. With few options and feeling the pressure of survival, he found himself pulled into crime to keep afloat and fully joined one of Chicago's most well-known gangs, the Black Disciples. At the same time, he had even more on his plate with the birth of his first child, which only added to the weight on his shoulders. Back then, surviving felt like an endless this uphill battle.
This is when my boy Durk first caught a charge. Life was tough on the streets of Inglewood, you know. Myself, Durk, and some of the family used to live at his grandma's house, but we didn't have nothing, so we looked to the street.
Durk's choice to join the Black Disciples marked the start of a string of events that put him on law enforcement's radar, with his first big run-in happening in October 2011. One night while driving, with one hand on the wheel and a bottle in the other, he got pulled over, and a quick search revealed a loaded gun. He was taken in, but managed to get out on bond, only for trouble to find him again in 2012, leading to a 3-month stint behind bars. Those 3 months gave him some serious time to think about where he was headed, and later, he opened up about how that experience pushed him to rethink his choices.
And I was like, man, I'm gonna stay out the streets. You know, I was like, I just got signed. But being in Chicago, man, I don't know. Wrong place, wrong time, like I said.
Determined to leave his past behind and start fresh, he turned his focus toward music, diving into rap as his way out, using platforms like YouTube to get his name out there and slowly build up a fan base. It didn't take long for his hard work to start paying off, and before he knew it, his early tracks like Sneak Dissing and I'm a Hitta started gaining attention. Soon enough, big names like Chief Keef and French Montana noticed his work, and his career began to take off, with his music reaching ears far beyond Chicago. By 2013, he was already riding high on the buzz, having dropped 4 mixtapes that year alone, and his collective Only the Family was making waves big enough to lead to a partnership with Def Jam Recordings. Rolling Stone even ranked his 2013 mixtape as one of the year's best, and just as everything seemed to be on an upswing, trouble hit again. Durk was arrested for carrying a loaded .40 caliber weapon as a felon on South Green Street in Chicago. He managed to post a $100,000 bond, and his lawyer presented 9 affidavits from witnesses who claimed his innocence, with one witness even stepping up to claim ownership of the gun, helping him dodge further legal setbacks. Between 2014 and 2015, he faced even more intense challenges, as he was constantly dealing with threats and heartbreaking losses, with one of the heaviest coming on May 31, 2014, when his cousin OTF Nunu was fatally shot. Nunu, who had just signed a record deal 2 days before his tragic death, was ambushed while driving and tried to escape, but his car crashed into a storefront and he lost his life at only 21 years old.
Durk beat the charge, and he hit the studio. Bro wasn't slowing down at all. He got so good in the rap game that our ops started coming for the family. They was hating on our bread. He's definitely hit the family hard, but the show hit Durk the hardest.
Losing Nunu was a massive blow, but Durk kept moving forward, throwing himself deeper into his music. That year, XL named him one of the freshman class of 2014, a nod that hinted at a brighter future on the horizon, even as challenges continued. Just a year later, on March 27, 2015, tragedy struck again when his close friend and manager OTF Chino was offed, only minutes after he and Durk had last spoken. Chino was family to him, and receiving the news of his death while in the studio was devastating.
Like, how long ago did you talk to him? Like, how before it actually happened?
Like 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
But despite all the heartbreak, gang conflicts, and legal drama trailing him like a shadow, Durk just kept pushing forward, refusing to let anything slow him down as he crisscrossed the country, performing and growing his fan base from coast to coast. But the thing about fame is, the higher you rise, the more your past seems to follow you. And for Durk, that meant his street rivalries were never too far away, even when he was hundreds of miles from Chicago. Right before a big show at the Theater of Living Arts in Philadelphia on September 5, 2015, violence showed up at his doorstep again. Gunshots rang out, hitting his tour bus and tragically killing a man in the crowd. The police were quick to detain suspects, and while Durk wasn't taken in, the whole event was a cold reminder that no matter how far he traveled, danger still lurked close by. By 2019, things took another serious turn when Durk, along with his close friend King Von, got hit with some heavy allegations after an alleged assault on a man named Alexander Witherspoon.
Because I have nothing to hide. Like, I have nothing to run from.
Did you do it? Did you shoot this man? Did you commit the other crimes of which you're accused?
No.
Prosecutors claim that Durk and Vaughn targeted Witherspoon, shooting him in the legs and taking off with $30,000 in cash and his Jeep Cherokee right there in a parking lot, with CCTV footage, witness statements, and a growing stack of evidence against them. Both were soon charged with attempted murder. Vaughn was arrested not long after, and Durk eventually turned himself in, finding himself facing these weighty charges in court, all while balancing a hectic tour schedule, which only made his already chaotic life feel even more intense. Jump ahead to 2022, and Durk had finally been set free from those looming charges, although he was still on parole, navigating life with his past never too far behind him. By this point, he was dealing with the heartbreaking loss of his friend and accomplice King Von, who had been off 2 years earlier, a loss that had hit him hard and was still casting a shadow over his world. Rumors swirled darkly around him, speculating about his alleged involvement in the killing of Lul Pub, who happened to be Quando Rondo's cousin, with many seeing it as some kind of revenge for Von's death.
Anybody that harm my people, I can't fuck with you. I'm not into it with you. Like, if I see you, I ain't saying like I'm finna kill you.
The buzz around it all was that someone from Quando's camp had fired the first shot, with Von ending up on the receiving end. So when Lul Pub was taken out, the word on the street was that the original target was actually Quando himself. But in the end, fate seemed to throw in its own twists, leaving people questioning what really happened.